Hello everyone and welcome to the Q&A. Now the Q&A, I'm doing this on a Tuesday, so right at the beginning of the week. So I hope you're having a lovely start to the week. It is 3 days since we've just hosted our 5-year party at the Crown Plaza in Nottingham, and it was phenomenal. A room full of people just having the most amazing time. So many of us came and we didn't know each other or never met in the flesh, and everyone just gelled so incredibly. The night went so smoothly, and I've had some really wonderful messages since then saying just how inspiring it is to be in a room full of people who are all lifting each other up, supporting each other, for example, in the awards and just in general. I can't tell you how positive our squad is. And I really feel like, I said this in my speech, I really feel like the squad and the classes and what we do is a constant in life. It's this constant little ray of sunshine. So no matter what happens in life, like all the ups and downs, it's there. It gives us structure in our day. It gives us routine, a little bit of fun, and maybe sometimes even like a little bit of escapism, but something we can tap into that makes us feel incredible. It's that magic. And on Saturday, I fully felt the magic. And I just posted a little reel. So you have to have a look on social media, post a little reel about it. I've got another one coming as well with all the photo booth pictures. Oh, it was so good. So I just want to say, here's to the next 5 years and the next and the next and the next. And if you do know anybody who would benefit from what we do, let's help more people. Let's help more people feel the magic and just feel better in themselves, because we know that when you work on your health and fitness, it's this positive domino effect to every other area of life. You show up as a better partner, as a better mum, as a better sister, as a better daughter, as a better grandma. You show up in a better way and you improve your confidence in so many areas of life. There's so many people who have gone for job promotions on the back of just the fact that they're looking after themselves and they're doing regular fitness with us because they find it easy to fit in because it's online and it's fun and we do so many different kind of things to keep everyone focused. It just has this positive knock-on effect for even relationships and maybe that relationship with yourself as well, which is so important. Anyway, I just feel really, I'm buzzing. So we're gonna have to do it again. All right, let me get on with the Q&A. And also, squaddies, make sure you are sticking on that focus. So we're focusing on core strength, glutes, and balance. Your task this week is to do a 1-minute plank before your coffee. And make sure you're attending the classes with a light bulb on, at least 3 of those. All right, we're going to start with the question about fruit. So the question was, can you eat too much fruit? I tend to eat lots of fruit and not as many veg. And in short, the answer is yes, you can have too much of anything. You can have too much water. The most important thing is you're getting variety in your diet and eating all the colours of the rainbow. I personally feel like it would be really hard to eat too much fruit. And that is because fruit is generally high in fibre, some high volume in relation to its calories. So it's lower calorie, high volume. For example, if I were to sit here and eat a Belvita bar, that's about 220-ish calories, that's roughly equivalent to about 3 apples. Size dependent. Let's just talk roughly here. If I were to sit and eat 3 apples, I feel like it would take me quite a long time because I've got to chew a lot. There's a lot of skin in there as well. Whereas if I was to unwrap a Belvita bar, and I could probably wolf that down in about 10 seconds if I wanted to. The chewing definitely plays a part in it. We do have to chew it more, but a lot of it is because it's higher in fiber as well. You will feel fuller by eating 3 apples as opposed to eating a Belvita bar. Prove me wrong, please. So that's one consideration. It's actually quite hard to eat too much. And yes, you can eat too much of anything, but it's really important to be, and I would be highly encouraging you to be including loads of fruits and vegetables in your diet. You may be missing out on a few key nutrients from vegetables, though. So if you find that you're just mainly having fruit and you're not really having any veggies, you could potentially be missing out on a lot of things. So there's calcium found in leafy greens like broccoli, iron found in spinach and lentils, and you've got magnesium, which is found in leafy greens and nuts. So if you're eating mostly fruit and little or no vegetables, you might be missing out on some essential minerals, which are crucial for so many things like your brain function, your energy levels, your muscle recovery, etc. So we've got to be thinking about, by eating too much fruit, what are we missing out on? So that's the most important thing. What can we add into our diet that we're not having enough of? And also, if you do find that you eat too much fruit, quote unquote, too much fruit, how much is too much, you may find that you have some really bad digestive issues. So it can go one of two ways, basically. And it's best to kind of stick to, well, they say you're 5 a day, but really I feel like maybe aiming for a little bit more than 5 a day. We want to be above average, right? But you might be able to handle about 4 different servings of fruit without having any digestive issues. But then you might start to find that actually it is negatively affecting your digestion. And in terms of weight loss, if your calories are greater, if your calories that you take in are greater than the calories out, wait, I said that really weirdly. If calories in are greater than calories out, i.e., you're taking in more than your body needs, you will put weight on. It doesn't matter what you eat, you will put weight on if you're eating more than your energy needs. That's just a fact. That is just a fact. So let's just be thinking about more, okay, can you have too much fruit, as opposed to what can I add into my diet that is going to benefit me and what am I missing out on? Because it's not just like the things from vegetables that you might be missing out on. It's other things like what are we not having? Proteins, are we having enough healthy fats? Just making sure that you're getting a real balance. And if all else fails, eat the rainbow. That is the best thing to do. All right, next question. What is the advised calorie intake when trying to lose weight? How often should I weigh myself and where on my body should I take measurements to track progress? So the advised calorie intake when you're trying to lose weight is different for every single person. It's individual. But they say, depending on how much you want to lose, you want to be in a deficit of about 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound. So if you were trying to lose 1 pound per week, you would need to be in a calorie deficit of 500 calories, meaning your energy requirements are X, eat 500 calories less than that each day to lose a pound that week. So that's what you want to do. And I would advise 1 to 2 pounds loss is a good amount to lose in terms of sustainability and being able to maintain lean muscle. I would say aim for about a pound a week loss. That's going to fluctuate, of course, over the month. Some weeks it might not be that much. Some weeks it might be a little bit more. But generally speaking, I would be aiming for about that. And you might find at the beginning it's really rapid and there's a lot of water weight there. And then you might find that it plateaus a little bit, particularly if you're increasing your activity, doing strength-based training and you're increasing your lean muscle mass, which is actually a good thing because your body composition will be changing for the better. But you might find it plateaus a little bit. So I would say you want to be in a calorie deficit of around about 500 calories per day. To work yours out, it's going to be a case of trial and error. You can use apps or you can use online calculators, and then they ask you roughly how active you are. Although these calculators are not accurate and they can't tell you your current body composition, anything about your genetics or your stress levels or your sleep or anything else that might be affecting how you lose weight. And they don't know you as a person. No one knows exactly. So the best thing to do is to start off with a target and see what happens, see what the trend is, and then you know how to adapt, you know how to change it. So for example, if you found out, you put in a calculator, said that your calories need to be 1,500 a day, then you could try it out. Week 1, did we lose weight? Yes, I lost a pound. Great. Continue, 1,500. Or if you found out that your weight plateaued or you didn't lose anything, like, that's interesting. If it were me personally, I'd give it another week to see what happened, because obviously it depends on the time of month. Have we been traveling? Are we constipated? Have we been eating any salty foods? So we've got water retention, for example. Could be so many different things. Or have we had a stressful week? And then I'll just see what happened and tweak. But then if I find out 2 weeks it's been stagnant, okay, I'm gonna alter it slightly. And that's gonna be different for everyone. Of course, the more active you are, generally speaking, the more calories you need. The bigger you are as a person, the more calories you need to maintain your current weight. And that might be in terms of size of body or how tall you are. It just really, really depends. So it's going to be a case of trial and error, but you can use online calculators to get a base. And also see how you feel in yourself. For example, if you put in, and by the way, if you put in an online calculator and it tells you to have 1,200, just please ignore it. It's ridiculous, especially if you're going to be you're going to be active. See how you feel. If it tells you something and you try that and then you feel that you've got no energy and you feel absolutely horrendous and you feel rubbish, increase it. Just alter it. Alter it by 100, 150, tweak all the time. How often should I weigh myself and where on my body should I take measurements to track progress? So if you are going to weigh yourself, and you don't have to, and I wouldn't recommend weighing yourself if I've just realized that I'm on my laptop audio today instead of my microphone. I've got my microphone switched on and I'm on my laptop audio. Well, I feel like I'm in a bit too deep now. I hope you can hear me okay. Whoops. If you were going to weigh yourself, same time, every single day, same circumstances, first thing in the morning, no clothes on, after you've been to the loo, write it down. It is a piece of data. Take the lowest weight of the week and compare that over the weeks. And what that will do is it will give you the trends. Is it trending down? Is it trending up? Has it plateaued? And it will take out any fluctuations because our weight fluctuates all the time. So if you get on the scales one day and then the next day it's gone up by a couple of pounds or whatever, or a kilo, don't panic. Don't panic. It's normal. You have not put on 2 pounds overnight. It doesn't happen like that. It's just fluctuations. It's water retention. So please bear that in mind, or it's constipation, or it's the time of the month. So please bear that in mind. Weight fluctuates all the time. So you take the lowest weight of the week and you compare that over the weeks to find out your trend. In terms of the measurements, so it's actually on the journal. You know, if you go to the journal and you scroll down to the bottom, my measurements, pop them all in there. They're the measurements that you need if you want to take measurements. But not everybody wants to weigh themselves, and you don't have to either. You could take progress pictures 6 to 8 weeks apart, and sometimes this gives you a better picture because, as I said previously, if you're going to start strength training and you're going to be pretty active, you might get to a point where your weight is a bit stagnant because you've got an increase in lean muscle mass. Yet when people look at you, you will look slimmer, but the weight might not necessarily suggest the same. Do you see what I mean? It's literally just a number, but your body composition might be completely and utterly different. So see how you feel. If you want to, if you're very good at taking like numbers as just a piece of data, just to track trends, and you find it quite interesting, then great, perfect. And if that motivates you, great, do it. If it doesn't, then you really don't have to do it. And I would say focus on the journey as opposed to the destination. So be ticking off the core 4 each week. Make sure that you are focusing on what you're doing and progress in the classes, progress in your food, progress in your energy and your sleep, because they're the things that ultimately really matter. And you just keep ticking those off, and that weight loss will come as well. Would you advise doing cardio each day alongside other classes, or is a yoga only day as beneficial? So I wouldn't suggest, it depends what you mean by cardio. So if we backtrack a little bit, if you mean cardio by going on like a dog walk, that's absolutely fine. That's steady state, nice and easy, relaxing training, yeah, totally, absolutely fine. If you were talking about doing a class, as in a cardio class every single day, your body needs rest. And I just would be curious as to why you feel that would be beneficial as well. Why would you feel doing cardio every single day would be beneficial for your body? So I would just be curious about that. But if we don't allow our body any rest, so say for example, on Monday I did HIIT, Tuesday I did combat, Wednesday I did aerobics, Thursday I did sculpt. Like by Friday, my body's probably wanting a bit of a chill, really. Like it's probably wanting to recover a little bit. So I would be saying, you really, really need to have a mix in there. And you don't need cardio every single day. 3-4 days a week is absolutely enough if you're doing it alongside other things like resistance training. And it's really important to have absolute minimum 1 rest day a week, just to allow your muscles to recover. And recovery and rest is just as important as the workouts themselves, because that's where we actually get stronger. If we keep working out on muscles that are already fatigued, they will never actually properly recover. And that's where we start to beg things like injury. It's where we get frustrated because we don't see results from our workouts, even though we're putting in all the effort, because we actually need a day to allow our body to do what it needs to do, and that's to recover. So it's really important to have that, yes, that say yoga only day, yes, to improve your recovery, to help with mobility, and it's just gonna give your body a little bit of time, which is really important. Next up, how do you stay focused on your diet and fitness through rough times? I can only speak from experience on this one, and what I can say is I honestly, strongly think that when rough times are happening and things are totally and utterly out of your control, I honestly think that it's so important to control the controllables. It's so important to think about the things that you can do. What can you do for your health and well-being? What can you do to look after yourself? When things feel like they're going out of control, you need to be your own best friend and you need to show up for you. And I found that the classes are that constant in life. Wake up, do a class, start the day on a positive note. It's that little bit of routine and that little moment away from everything when all you need to think about is how your body is moving in that moment, in that 20 minutes. That's all you need to think about. And when you leave the class, you leave with more capacity to deal with everything else that is going on in life. You just feel so much better, so much level-headed, despite the whole entire world spinning around you. It's just that grounding. And I really think that it's so important. And with the food side of things, I think that, it is okay sometimes to use food as a bit of a comfort if it is beneficial in that moment. And I'm not saying that food should be, but I'm saying if you're going through a really rough time and you want a piece of chocolate, then have a piece of chocolate. But I would say just make sure that you are mostly nourishing your body and treating yourself as you would a friend. If you had a child or a friend who was going through a really bad time, you would be telling them to look after themselves. You'd be telling them to make sure they're eating proper meals. So we've got to do it for ourselves. Make it really easy, get into a good routine, and just take the pressure off as well. And just remember that even a 10-minute workout is so much better than not doing anything at all. And find a reason to keep you going, like how the movement makes you feel. Have a goal in mind. And you can also check in on the Facebook group as well. So check in with us and check in with me, because we're all here for each other. Next, do household chores count as exercise? And does drinking more than 3 liters of water cause water retention? So, yes, it depends on how you're doing the household chores, of course. Like if I was standing there with a duster and like not really moving at all, then it's not really going to do anything. But these are it's more your neat, really. So I wouldn't be doing household chores in place of a workout. We work out to make life easier. So, for example, doing things like Pilates, so we've got a stronger core. So when we are doing our household chores, we're not going to break our back, or, we're bending over doing the gardening and then we've got a really bad back and we really pay for it because our core's so weak. So we do workouts to support what we do in everyday life, but these would be counting more as your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And that is basically movement that is outside of quote unquote workouts. So of course it's going to depend on the intensity as to whether you can actually formally call it exercise. But I would be focusing on getting your workouts done rather than thinking, oh, I mopped the floor today, so there we go, there's 20 minutes of exercise. Like it's not going to happen unless you are mopping the floor and then doing a burpee and a push-up and then mopping and doing a burpee push-up for 20 minutes. So let's be thinking about exercise outside of that. So it will not replace other classes, but you can use it as like general activity. That's what I would be more inclined to think. And with the water, 3 litre water, does it cause water retention? No. Drinking more water actually helps reduce water retention. Water retention. So just aim to drink to thirst and make sure that you're also having electrolyte-rich foods like leafy greens and nuts and bananas, because if you increase your water intake without having enough electrolytes in your body, so sodium, potassium, magnesium, your body may temporarily hold on to water. But in general, no, water is actually going to help with water retention. So the water retention, if you want to know kind of what it's caused by, high salt intake, hormonal fluctuations, especially, women, lack of movement, electrolyte imbalances, which is what I was just talking about. So too much water, but not enough sodium, potassium, magnesium. You can have too much water though, but you have to have like really quite a lot to have too much water. So 3 liters of water, I highly doubt that would ever be too much for anybody, but it depends on the person. And the most important thing is just to have a look at the color of your pee. So aiming for that really, really light, pale straw color. That's a great question though. Should I stick with 3 meals a day, even if I'm not really hungry? Is skipping meals bad for you? So it depends. It depends on the person. Like, why are we skipping meals? If it's literally because you don't want anything to eat right now and you're just not hungry at all, you've fueled yourself really well and had really balanced meals, then okay, like fair enough. If you don't want to eat, you don't want to eat. But what is the consequence of that later? Does that mean that we are snacking in the afternoon? Is it a case of we're not hungry right now, so do we just push the meal back a little bit? It depends on you. It depends on your body's needs. It depends on your lifestyle. So each to their own, really. And a lot of people thrive on 3 meals and snacks, whilst other people feel better doing things like intermittent fasting and eating within a certain window, like an 8-hour window. It all depends on the person. Like some of the pros of eating 3 meals a day will mean that your energy levels are more consistent. Sometimes it's easier to regulate your hunger, so there's less binging or less reaching out for like quick sugar or palatable things later on because your body needs a quick fix. And it's easier to hit a lot of nutritional needs. For example, protein. But if you're genuinely not hungry, your energy levels are absolutely fine. Like forcing food isn't necessary. So it just depends on you. Some people find that having a bit of a gap in between can help with their digestion, etc. But if you're skipping meals and then you're finding that you're feeling lightheaded, you're irritable, you are low on energy, or then you struggle with overeating, at the next meal or later on in the day, or if you're finding that it's really impacting your recovery, so your recovery from workouts isn't great, then maybe skipping meals isn't the best thing for you. But it's important to listen to your body first and foremost. And it might just be a case of experimenting with meal timing and just seeing what suits your lifestyle better and what suits you better. How do you stop your shoulders sinking, collapsing when leaning on your elbow for side exercises? So you want to be thinking about pushing the floor away and engaging your lats, so the muscles underneath your armpit. So think about engaging your lats and pushing the ground away. And make sure your ear away from the shoulder. And then that way you'll be putting less pressure into the shoulder as well if you are feeling it there. I think there's a similar question as well. Yes, there is a similar sort of question. I'm experiencing a bit of pain in my right shoulder and neck whenever I hold myself up on my elbows for side planks. Is there a modification while I gain strength in that area? So, of course, we don't want this to hurt. We don't want to feel any sharp pains at all. I would check your form first. So look in the mirror how you're doing it or film yourself so you can see that your elbows directly below your shoulder, and make sure that you are pushing your whole arm into the ground as well. So you got your fist, your elbow, your whole arm as opposed to just the elbow. So the first modification is bending the bottom knee and keeping that in the ground. So say if we're in a side plank, bending the bottom knee, keep it in the ground. And you could also try it on a bit of an incline. You could support it with a cushion or a rolled up towel or a yoga block. And then the other thing to do would be to strengthen the shoulders and your upper back. So doing things like push-ups. You could use your booty band and do pull aparts and just generally upper body. So, if you go onto on demand and type upper body in, so we can really work on strengthening the upper body, and then that will hopefully feel better. Or you could literally just lift yourself up, hold it for a few seconds, go down and do it again, and do it in reps, as opposed to just holding the movement there. See how you feel and how you get on with that. But I think that is all the questions for today's Q&A, team. Oh, no, sorry, there's one more. Yes, that's right, there's one more. What to do with activity if you suspect you are in early weeks of conception? I'm not, but we are trying. Okay, that's very exciting, by the way. Very, very exciting. In the first few weeks of conception, you may feel a little bit more lightheaded. You may feel a bit constipated. Your breasts might be feeling a little bit tender. You might be going to the toilet more for a pee. You might be feeling more thirsty. All these things will be happening because your body is going through some absolutely major changes. But in terms of your actual exercise in the first trimester, you don't need to adapt it in any way unless your body tells you. So the one thing that you might want to watch out for is, say, if you're doing something on the floor and then you're getting up, just get up, take your time, go carefully, because as your body is basically preparing itself for the growth of a human being, you're going to get this vasodilation, which is where your blood vessels are starting to dilate. And just as the volume of blood is trying to keep up with that, this is why you might experience like a little bit of lightheadedness or dizziness. So that is the only thing that I would say. But in terms of your activity, it's really beneficial to keep active. What they do say is don't start anything brand new. So for example, if you've never done running in your life before and you find out you're pregnant and then you just decide to start running, it's probably not the best idea. So just continue with what you have been doing unless your body tells you otherwise. And it's trimester 2 and onwards where you want to be starting to adapt a little bit. But what I would say is have a look at the pre and postnatal area and on the website as well for that, or just ask me. So I'm pre and postnatal qualified, so please feel free to ask me. Yeah, very exciting though. All right, team, that's all from me today. The non-microphone Lorna. I hope you could hear me all right. And have a wonderful day. I will see everyone in class tomorrow. Bye, gang.